Hi, my name is FortressH. One day there was a rich man. He was in his deathbed. He was very, very sick. He asked a preacher to come and preach to him or pray over him. But as the preacher was leaving, he said to the preacher, "If God saves me from this sickness and I live, I will give $1 million to missions." A week later, the preacher was walking around and he found the man, and the man was perfectly fine. Everything was fine. And the preacher asked him, "Did you give that $1 million to the missions?" And the rich man said, "What do you mean?" And the preacher said, "When you were on your deathbed, you said, 'I'll give $1 million to missions.'" And the rich man replied, "I must have been really sick if I said that." So I'm going to talk about Jonah today. And in Jonah, the beginning of Jonah, we know this story. He's a prophet who God asked to go to Nineveh and preach the word. But Jonah is very reluctant, and so he gets on this ship to go to Tarshish. On the way to Tarshish, a great storm arises, and in that storm, the sailors think we're all going to die. So they start picking up luggage and they throw it overboard. And while they're throwing luggage overboard, they see a man, Jonah, and they figure out this is the reason why they're about to sink is because of Jonah. So Jonah tells them, "Throw me overboard." So they throw him overboard and the sea is calm. But while he's sinking, he sees a great big fish coming for him. And it swallows him. And in chapter 2, we see a very nice and neat prayer. It goes like this: "I say, I have been banished from your sight, yet I will look again towards your holy temple. The engulfing waters threatened me, the deep surrounded me. Seaweed was wrapped around my head. To the roots of the mountains I sank down, the earth beneath me buried forever. But you, Lord my God, brought me up from with life from the pit. When my life was ebbing away, I remembered you, Lord, and my prayer rose to you, to your temple." So this prayer that we hear from Jonah, it seems like he's very thankful. He's very thankful to God. But we see in chapter 3, he gets out of the fish. He goes to Nineveh and he preaches a 8-word sermon. It goes like this: "Yet in 40 days, Nineveh will be overturned." Kind of lackluster if you ask me. But then, even after that, he goes to the far side of the city and he waits, hoping that God will destroy them. So in the belly of the fish, it doesn't really seem like he only repented then, and as soon as he got out, he was like, "Whoa, like the rich man, I must have been really sick if I said that." Guys, sometimes we're in the deepest spots of our life, and we say, a great prayer, or we say, I'll be humble, or I'll stop doing this to this person, and I'll get better habits. But sometimes we just talk the talk and we don't walk the walk. So we see Jesus telling a parable that's a little like this. Matthew 18:21. "Therefore the kingdom of heaven is like a king who wanted to settle accounts with his servants. As he began to settle, a man who owed him 10,000 talents was brought to him. Since he was not able to pay, the master ordered that he and his wife and his children were all to be sold into slavery to pay the debt. At this, the servant fell to his knees before him. 'Be patient with me,' he begged, 'and I will pay you back everything.' The servant's master took pity on him and canceled the debt and let him go. But when the servant went out, he found a fellow servant who owed him 100 silver coins. And he grabbed him and began to choke him, saying, 'Pay back what you owe me,' he demanded. His fellow servant fell to his knees and begged him, 'Be patient with me, and I will pay you back.'" So, we see here, we know this story. It's called The Unforgiving Servant. He gets paid an immense debt. But he's very happy, and he thanks the king. But then, when he goes on his way, he sees a fellow servant who owes him a very, very small amount of what he had had to owe, but he didn't pay. And he takes the servant by the throat and he says, "Pay up." Okay? So it didn't seem like he was sincere. He did pray to God. Maybe he said, this isn't in the text, maybe he said something like, "Oh, thank you, King. I am in debt for you forever." But he doesn't act like it. He goes out and he just he does the thing that he was forgiven of. So, my challenge to you guys is that you don't just talk the talk or walk, you gotta walk the walk. You can't just be a lackluster in life, but then make great prayers to God. If you are striving to do something great, maybe breaking a habit, being kind to this specific person, I encourage you to do that this morning, so that when we're at the end of time, we can say, I have fought the good fight, I have finished the course, I have kept the faith.